What's up, you guys? It's your friend Adam online. Gonna make a quick YouTube here with my friend Nettie on my back. Hello, Nettie. Say hi to YouTube. Nettie's just being a good lizard, chilling there. We're gonna go over some more things I learned running my own Airbnb now that I have multiple listings with my 4-unit apartment building out by Lake Powell. And probably the best tip I can give you guys right now has to do with double checking your cleanliness and double checking your rental unit before your next guest arrives. Now, if you're not living there and you have a co-host doing this for you, I would actually make your co-host go back in like with a fresh set of eyes as if though they were the guest to double check everything. So obviously you do your vacuuming, you want to check the floor for any extra dirt or fuzz or anything like that. One thing I've noticed, probably the most frequent thing I catch is when I go to the bed and I pull back the bed sheets. You want to check for hairs because sometimes people's hairs will be very persnickety and they will stay on the sheet through the wash. So you basically have someone's clean hairs. Let's check here. Man, that looks really good. So I check right there. I don't undo the whole entire sheet, just that part where people are going to see first. And this looks pretty good here. So I would double check under the beds for the hairs. I also check to save on utilities, make sure that my wall heating units are turned off unless I'm prepping it for a guest, like having a fan turned on for the AC system. The AC system doesn't need to be on all day, so I check and make sure that's going to be in the off position. Unless, again, it's like a really hot day and I know the guest is arriving in 30 minutes. I also check showers. They can get wiped clean, and sure enough, like one little persnickety eyelash or hair will get stuck in there. I know this seems real obvious, but just stick with me. We'll go over some of the good things here. I also check the laundry area, make sure there's been no laundry left behind. You'll be surprised how often people forget like a shirt or a sweater or something. You're gonna mail it back to them, have them just PayPal you the money or Venmo the money to you. You also check, make sure your supplies are stocked up if you're providing laundry soap and fabric refresher and stuff like that. Make sure that's adequate. Same thing with the toilet paper. Like here, when the roll's getting that empty, I would just put a fresh roll on there, and then I take this little backup roll and I tuck it in a drawer here. And you'd be surprised, people are really grateful when if they run out and they're like, oh my gosh, there's like half a roll left there. So here's a good check. Someone left trash. We'll make sure this trash is completely empty. Also, you should check under your sinks for any leaks or drips. So people might, maybe while they're staying here, they look around for some extra shampoo or something, they bump a pipe, they might knock something loose and you get a little slow drip. Boy, that can turn into an expensive bill. That little drip should, keep going and rot the wood. And also, you check, you gotta listen really carefully. One time we had someone leave like the toilet had like, the valve wasn't set quite right in the toilet tank, and the toilet had a constant water flow going through it, and it ran up our water bill like crazy, like a couple $100 in a month, or like $100 for the month. It was nuts, $100 higher than it normally is. So those were all good things to check. Here where I live, we're getting into our winter season now. So when I tour my guests, I let them, you got to be Captain Obvious with certain things. So this is kind of tip number 2. After double checking for cleanliness, got to be Captain Obvious when you're touring your guests, or if you're doing like an over the phone tour with a text or photo messages. I highly recommend, if you can't meet them in person, send them photo messages unless you already have like a little laminated sign. So like here I would have a laminated sign, but I just tell them on the tour in person, or I send them a picture saying, hey, there's like a chute under this fireplace. You got to pull that chute open before you set the fire. You're going to have smoke all over the house, and the alarm's going to go off, and you have a false alarm, and fire marshal shows up and gives you a fine or something. You don't want all that. So you got to be really Captain Obvious. Also, I tell them, it depends on what your rules for your house are, but I got to tell them, please no eating food in the bedrooms. We have a dining table and a kitchen for all that. Hot tea, cup of water, that's fine in the bedroom. I don't usually say coffee because I've had people spill coffee on the bed. So you got to be Captain Obvious. I tell them when in the shower, I know it's painfully obvious, but make sure the liner is inside of the tub. You'd be surprised when I don't tell people put the liner inside the tub. Occasionally they forget. You got a flood on the floor. If you got any cracks in your floor, then you're gonna have wood rot underneath your bathroom floor. You don't want that. So you gotta be Captain Obvious with certain things. Also, I highly recommend, here's tip number 3, no matter how nice they are, no matter how competent they are or how much they seem competent, charge a security deposit. I would go at like a minimum, find your most valuable appliance. So if it's a fridge or a wash machine or whatever, you know, I have 2 wash machines, I have a fridge, an oven. I would charge them what it would cost probably for the most valuable appliance. So if they break the wash machine by putting too many clothes in it, that happened one time, you can at least get them for the full value of the security deposit. And you don't want to have to do that. But the other day we had some nice Korean guys staying here. They seem very competent and everything. And you know what? I'm like, you know what? I got these customers through booking.com. So with booking.com, the deposit's not automatic like it is with Airbnb. So I had to swipe their card once for the charge. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to bother with charging you an extra security deposit because then I got to remember to refund it the next day. But that was a very amateur mistake because guess what? These Korean guys boiled some hot water. Then they took this hot pitcher of water, hot teapot, and they left it on my chair, and I got a burned hole right in my chair. And it's granted, it's a cheap Walmart chair, probably worth like 20 bucks, if that. But I couldn't bill them for it because they booked through booking.com, not Airbnb, and I only charged them for the room, and I didn't have all their credit card information on file, so there wasn't anything I could really do, and they were gone. And so that's another thing. I would always charge a deposit, no matter how nice, even if it's your friend and you're like giving your friend a huge discount or an acquaintance. Make sure you unless you want to pay for it yourself, get that security deposit on there. So those are 3 really important tips I learned. Another cool thing, I'll just keep throwing a 4th one here as a bonus. You can get your own steam cleaner for your carpets. We got a Bissell steam cleaner and it works really well. So I hired White Tornado Carpet Cleaning to come out for me earlier in the summer when we were just getting started. They did a great job. That's a local company here. They do a fantastic job. And for what I paid them to do like about 1.5 apartments, I was able to go out and buy my own Bissell shampoo machine. And of course you got to keep stocked up on soap for that, the special kind of soap they give you. But that was a big plus for me. And it is a little extra labor on my part unless I find someone to do it. But I love having fresh carpet, and I can proudly tell all of my guests that we steam clean our carpets once a month because there's a lot of dirt out here, a lot of people tracking sand in. And so that's another little tip. So if you're a very avid short-term rental host like I am, you're gonna want to steam clean carpets. There's nothing quite like coming in and you have a fresh smell into your house and nothing like a dingy smell. All right, you guys. So wish you well. You know what? Let's throw in one more 5th little tip here. If you have extra things on your property, find a way to incorporate that for the benefit of your guests. So like for me, like maybe you have a hot tub or a pool, which is obvious, you throw that in. But we have apple trees here. So, and we have a peach tree and a cherry tree. And these apple trees just finished yielding, and they yielded so many apples, we couldn't eat them all. We were like giving them away. And so one cool thing we did is we picked these apples when they got really plump and juicy, and we put them in a nice dish on the middle of the table and leave a little note like, you know, apples for our guests, or we sent them a message saying feel free to pick some extra apples on your way out, and everybody loved it. It was like a good little bonus. And they're fresh off the tree, no pesticides. So if you got things like that around your property where you can just be generous and give it to your guests, that's a good plus too. All right, so there's 5 tips to help you guys out with your short-term rental business, whether you're doing Airbnb or booking.com. I actually like Airbnb a lot better. They automate everything. I'll have another video about that later. So thanks for watching. And Nettie says thank you. Hello. Hello, say goodbye, Nettie. Bye-bye. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. We'll be making money together and sharing Airbnb tips and secrets. Bye.